Set it off. Set it off. Set it off. Set it off.
Rebel nature.
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 Set it off.
Hi, I'm Sammie. This is RebelNatureTv. I'm here with
Kartel.
and we're going to talk about his music. Now, your sound is very different to sounds I'm used to.
Yeah.
Describe it, because it's a genre of its own.
Yeah, it's spoken word. Some would call me a motivational speaker. So you can give or take, really.
But it's poetry. It's like,
poetry.
So it is very different to what's out there at the moment.
Yeah.
You can catch everything from Kartel on SoundCloud. All the information will be up at the end of the video. Your messages, what you're getting across in your music, how would you describe that?
That's very positive. Trying to stay away from anything negative. Give kids something to aspire to. They don't have to always talk about guns or violence to make a name for themselves. So.
It's very positive, very different. Your mixtape that you've got out at the moment is called
Voice of the Unspoken.
And you can get that on SoundCloud. One of the songs that was on there was called Imagine. Can you talk us through that one?
Imagine is actually coming from a work in progress at the moment. That is basically about a relationship between two friends, and one daydreams about what if their relationship became more than friends, where they could get in the future.
Okay.
Obviously, being a couple, could they go further, have kids, marriage, build like their own little empires? That one's basically about everyday violence, really. Especially about, obviously, young black shootings that always happen, which never make the news or so forth. So I've decided to put my own little view of it and kind of stick it in the faces of the people who are ignoring the situation.
Okay, and in that, does it have a result? Is it something?
Yeah, it's had quite a good result. I wouldn't say a bad result. It's been very positive. Obviously, some have seen a darker side of my work, in a sense, but also it shows that there's versatility within what I do. It's not just a straightforward love story or just my life story or someone else's life. It's talking about things that need to be spoken about.
And the things that you describe in Hot Lead,
yeah,
is that something that you've grown up around, or you've experienced firsthand, or through other people?
I wouldn't say I've experienced some things, but a lot would be I've seen or know someone who's been through it. But there was a situation which happened a couple of years ago. A little girl got shot. It didn't really make the news, but obviously the black community heard about it, and obviously it wasn't here, it was all the way in Birmingham. But obviously it made an impact on us, being that it never made the kind of impact that it should have made, and it didn't get the limelight that if it was a little white kid that got shot, so to speak. So yeah, because
gunshots and shootings, these kind of things, they're quite taboo kind of subject, and it's good that you kind of directing some light on it.
Yeah, it needs to be seen.
This particular song, does it, how can I explain, does it describe the event, or does it kind of veer people away from the event?
I wouldn't say it describes an event. It describes an event, what could happen, or in some cases that have happened, either they've made up in movies or so forth, but these are things that do happen. We may not hear about it, but they have happened and they do happen. So
it's just highlighting this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to know about your influences for the mixtape that you've got out.
None at all, actually. No influences. It's just me, literally in a room by myself at home, writing, or literally on a bus. Anything that pops into my mind. A poem could take me 5 minutes, or it could take me a good month to write, depending on what I'm talking about.
So where did the poetry come from? Is that something you've done from when you were a kid, or?
Yeah, I've always written poetry. I've always written in particular, but mainly for myself.
Okay.
And that's what it was time to kind of put it out. Some people have seen my work, friends and so forth, and they're like, you need to put it out. I'm like, certain things are for me. So there are poetries that have been done which are never going to be seen, but then obviously there's this work which is out.
The ones that you want to share with everyone.
Yeah.
This is something very new. You were talking about that before earlier.
Yeah.
It's very new. So you put a beat, obviously, music behind it. It's not just spoken word.
Yeah, not just spoken word. Most spoken word is literally free flowing, very passionate, very much emotion in the words. And obviously I've just had to put a beat behind it to maybe soften the effects slightly on some topics, and obviously stir emotion with other topics. So
A mixtape too that you're working on currently in production. Talk us through that. Where's that at?
that's as you say, it's in production. It's not very far along. There are several tracks. Let's say maybe about 10 recorded already, but obviously there's still a lot more work to go on it. Obviously it's going to be Voice of the Unspoken Volume 2, and obviously there's a particular track on there called Voice of the Unspoken, obviously, which matches what the CD is about. It's the upcoming of a person through his childhood all the way up.
Wow.
So,
And obviously it's in production. Anything else that you're doing?
nothing I'm doing yet simultaneously. I am hoping to actually do 3 parts to this particular project.
Oh, so you've got future things lined up.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's not veering away from anything. So it'll be to turn this particular CD into a book, and also later on a DVD. So there'll be 3 ways for everyone to kind of take it in, which is a bit easier for them. A lot of kids don't like to read, so they can either listen to it or they can watch it. And obviously some people just like to read, so once they read, they can let their imagination run wild with their own emotions and so forth, and take something else away from the poetry.
Good. Something positive.
Yeah.
That you have called Towers.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. Can you talk us a bit through that?
That is just basically about the Twin Towers. The tower kind of says it itself. Obviously, that was about my own personal experiences with the Twin Towers. Obviously, there was
You
a
had
lot
a
of
loss.
people. Yeah. I lost my father in the Twin Towers, so thank you. Everyone was affected different ways. Obviously, mine was directly personal, so it did take a toll. Still does. Obviously, it comes on TV every year. There's no way to avoid it. So it's an ongoing thing.
I always think it's good to remember people and however you deal with that loss, I think is a good, and the fact that you've done this video, I think it pays good tribute to your dad, good homage.
Yeah.
It probably doesn't do as much justice as you'd like it to do.
No, no, not at all. I think it was just about time, because obviously no one actually knows too much about me. I've kind of kept myself in the dark, but obviously put up bits and pieces that kind of shone a light on other aspects, but without going. It's a very personal fit piece, but obviously it don't give them too much else about my personal life. It just gives them a glimpse, and that's about it.
You're a soft-spoken, humble guy, and I'm very privileged to have you.
Thank you.
To do this interview with you. Thank you so much for having that time with us, and wish you all the best of luck
Thank
with
you.
your music. This is Sammie from RebelNatureTv. I'm out.